Hi everyone, this is a quick overview of your legal and regulatory aspects presentation. Now the purpose of this whole presentation is to really design a presentation that's tailored to an audience that provides direct care to clients, maybe an interdisciplinary team, students, mid-level leaders. So any level is okay, and the focus is to really design a presentation that is usable in your practice. So that's the most important thing. And what we are doing is we're looking at legal or regulatory aspects that may cause some ethical dilemma or concerns among either the staff or the leaders or students. So you choose your topic wisely, and the whole focus is to really present things in a way with the why a certain regulation is in place, or why legally there's certain aspects that we need to practice, even though it may or may not be conducive to individual needs. And that causes quite a bit of dilemmas within practice, and whether it would be for leaders dealing with various individuals, or whether it would be staff providers that are working with individuals that don't fit within the specific guidelines of maybe a law or some kind of regulation, that their needs may be outside of what that regulation may be. So really focus on those things that cause duress in practice. So the whole focus is designing a presentation in a way to present the factors that may be of concern and open up that conversation for those particular issues. If you have any questions about the underpinnings of this particular assignment, let me know. So what you're going to do, number one, is really identify a mandate that's triggered some ethical issues or moral stress at the point of care, or connection with staff, meaning other leaders or students. So you're going to do an overview of that particular mandate or law or regulation, and then you're going to identify ethical principles and professional guidelines that correlate with that particular, or maybe contrast with that particular regulation or law or mandate. So use the words of ethical principles such as justice, veracity, those types of things in your presentation to show that you are applying those particular principles in your practice. And again, as you're presenting those types of issues, ethical issues in practice, it's important to use those words to really clearly define that you are practicing using the highest ethical leadership practices that you can, and that you're really applying those principles, those ethical principles, in practice as well. So kind of keep that in mind as you're doing your particular presentation. So you're going to really explore those ethical conflicts or those points of duress that may occur surrounding that particular law, regulation, or mandate. And then you're going to do based on those concepts of presentation. And you may use like a PowerPoint with speaker's notes, voiceovers. I do recommend that you do a voiceover or a video of your presentation. And it, again, as leaders, it's really important to practice those presentation skills. It may be a little uncomfortable, but I want to strongly encourage you to do so, because again, the more that you do it, the more comfortable you will be with it. So there's multiple purposes behind this particular assignment. So you are going to dive into the literature. You're going to have at least 4 scholarly peer-reviewed resources, and make sure that one of those is specific to that law or policy or regulation. So make sure that, again, you apply those ethical principles, and as you're doing your presentation, that you follow the steps as far as principles of effective presentations, as far as not too many words on the slides, those types of things. And your presentation should take about 15 minutes, but no longer than 25 minutes in duration. And as far as the rubric, you're going to start out with an introduction. You're going to define your SMART objectives, and then you're going to, as far as the content, really outline that mandate, get into the ethical conflicts, and really demonstrate with adequate depth that you've achieve the purpose of the assignment that I talked through just previously. Make sure that you include audience participation in your presentation, using those words, using those guidance as far as maybe questions or interactions, those types of things. Again, a key concept as far as presentation skills. You want to show that you're really integrating your audience so they're engaged. And again, going back to using those specific concepts, and there are some components to look at as far as they may be possibly part of your choice, but not all of them will likely be. These are just guidelines for you to kind of trigger thought, and then you want to bring it all together and identify those key points in your conclusion and make sure that you tick and tie everything. Make sure that you go back to your objectives and indicate a method how you're going to assure that you achieve those objectives, whether it be question and answers at the end or some kind of conversation. And of course, you want to make sure that you cite all of your slides using APA format. Go to page 177 of your APA manual, and that's where it lists how to actually do citations on the slides. And it's just like you do in your in-text papers, as far as in the parentheses, the author's names and the dates, those types of things. And then at the very end, make sure that you have your reference list. So if you have any questions or concerns about completing the presentation, let me know. Again, this needs to be something that's very meaningful and usable for you, and ideally you would be able to then take this presentation to your area of practice and present it to your the folks that you work with. So if you have any questions or concerns, let me know.